start. We did have bugs and errors in the system, and we did help the post office in their prosecutions of the sub-postmasters. For that, we are truly sorry.
It is the job, of course, of parliamentary committees and the public inquiry to conclude what went wrong. It is not their job to sanction individuals or corporations. So what role could the law play? Could prosecutions in court follow? Would they be likely to succeed? Lord MacDonald is the former Director of Public Prosecutions, and you, good morning to you, have been campaigning for many years to make it easier to prosecute corporations. Why is it now difficult?
Well, the problem we have is that companies do have legal personality, so in theory they can be prosecuted. But to prosecute a company, you have to identify someone within the company who's committed the offence, who can be regarded as the guiding mind or a guiding mind of the company. And that means someone of very great seniority. The courts have really restricted it, in effect, to people at board level. So you have to find someone at board level who has committed the offence, and that can be very challenging because often people at that sort of level are far removed from the acts which amount to the offence. I mean, if you had people on the board who had sanctioned, who were complicit in, who had encouraged or counselled the commission of an offence, that wouldn't be a problem and you could charge the company on that basis. But that's quite an unusual situation. That's usually not quite how these things work out in the real world. So we need some reform of this principle.
To be clear, you need an evidential trail. You can't simply say, well, you were the boss, the corporation did bad things, we hold you to account for those bad things.
Or no, you can't say that we will hold the company to account for those bad things. I mean, in the United States, corporate liability is much broader. There, companies, corporations can be liable for the federal crimes of their employees or agents which were committed in its interests, and that's obviously a much broader principle, which makes it much easier to charge corporates in the United States, and corporates are charged much more often in the United States than they are in our system. And we have a recent piece of legislation, the Economic Crime and Transparency Bill, which is not yet, I think, enforced, but which has been passed by Parliament, which tries to broaden this out somewhat. It defines what a senior management is for the purpose, a senior manager is for the purposes of criminal liability, but it's still not broad enough, and I think we need to move closer to the United States position. I mean, I think many people will find it odd that if, and it's a big if crimes were committed in the recent Post Office Horizon scandal, that the Post Office itself shouldn't be liable for them, given what we know of the facts in that case. That would seem to be an odd result.
In terms of the individuals, the man we just heard from, the Fujitsu Europe boss, Paul Patterson, he went on to be clear that he didn't know why these things had happened. He said he was in fact surprised that things were left out of witness statements to the Post Office. They currently